Tom Tipper is the postman at Farquhar and one of the friendliest faces you can find in the village. Everyone knows Tom and his little red van and will always stop to say hello to him. It's not just the village residents who like Tom, he is a good friend to the railway too. Early each morning, he meets Percy with the mail train and helps load the mail sacks into the waiting vans. The little engine adores Tom and is always happy to see him. However, one morning, as Percy arrived at the station with the mail train, Tom Tipper was nowhere to be seen. Instead, there stood a miserable-looking postman. He dumped the sacks on the platform and cycled away without a word. "Where's Tom?" worried Percy. "And his little van?" "No wonder the new lad looks miserable," murmured his driver, "having to cycle around all day with mail sacks." "I'm sure we'll see him again soon," added the fireman. But Percy wasn't so sure and began to worry. He met Toby later that day and explained what had happened. Toby looked worried too. "I saw the new chap earlier myself. Something must be up for him to not have Tom's van." And indeed it was. A few days later, Tom was back at work, however this time with a new bicycle. "Where's your van?" asked Percy. "They say it's too expensive to run," sighed Tom. "The bike's a cheaper alternative. I'm sorry I can't stay and help. I've got to try and keep to time." And with that, Tom cycled sadly away. Percy felt very upset for him. Later that evening, he spoke with Toby again. "It's such a shame," murmured Toby. "He looked ever so unhappy when I saw him earlier." "I do wish there was something we could do to help," sighed Percy. But try as the two engines might, they couldn't think of anything which would help. "Never mind," comforted Toby. "I'm sure something will come to us soon." Percy remained doubtful and drifted unhappily to sleep. Little did he know how soon something would come. Next morning, Percy was at the station. He left the vans at the platform as he went to take on water. As he did, Tom Tipper arrived, red in the face from cycling. He left the sacks on the platform and went to hurry away. But before he could, he was stopped. "There's a call for you in my office," called the station master. "It sounds urgent." "Oh, botheration," grumbled Tom. "I'll be even later now." Hastily, Tom propped his bike against one of Percy's vans as he hurried into the station office. As he went, Percy backed down onto his waiting vans, but neither he or his crew noticed the lone bike. That is until they heard a loud crunch. "What was that?" gasped Percy. His crew leaped onto the platform and quickly found the source of the noise. "Where on earth did that come from?" asked the driver. Tom's bike laid in a tangled heap below the wheels of the first van. Percy was most upset. "Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea." "It's all right, Percy," reassured his driver. "It was just an accident. None of us knew it was there." By now they were running late. Percy puffed sadly away, feeling terrible about the whole ordeal. At midday, Percy arrived at a station where Toby was waiting. Before either could speak to another, they heard a joyful noise. "It's Tom's van!" cheered Percy. Tom came rolling up beside the engines, tooting the little van's horn with delight. Gone with his long face, he now glowed cheerfully as he once did. "They've let me have my old van back," he smiled happily. The engine smiled, but Percy was still worried. "I'm sorry about your bike, Tom." "It's all right, Percy. I never liked it anyways," he beamed. "Besides, this is much better." Toby grinned. "It seems you helped out after all." "I suppose so," replied Percy. "Although it was by accident. A happy accident, you might say." Everyone laughed, and the two little engines watched happily as Tom Tipper and his little van rumbled away.